Ever heard of a place so haunted? Even the locals refuse to speak its name after sundown. On the wild, wind-swept coast of Scotland, there's a cave. It's not just any cave. It's a gaping maw in the cliffs known as Wam and Rai, the King's Cave. But the real story isn't about kings. It's about what lurks inside. The story goes back centuries. It starts with a piper, a man named MacCrown. He was the best in the land. His music could make you weep or dance for joy. One day a challenge was put to him. A dare, really? To prove his bravery, he had to walk into the depths of Wam and Rai, playing his bagpipes the entire way, and emerge from a different exit miles inland. MacCrown, full of pride and maybe a little too much whiskey, accepted. He boasted he wasn't afraid of any ghost or goblin. With his loyal dog by his side, he stood at the entrance as the sun began to set, the waves crashing like thunder behind him. He took a deep breath, filled his bagpipes, and the first mournful notes echoed into the darkness as he stepped inside. The villagers gathered at the cave mouth listening. The sound of his pipes grew fainter and fainter as he ventured deeper. They could track his progress by the sound, a brave, lonely melody weaving through the labyrinthine tunnels. For what felt like an eternity, the music continued, a thread of life in the belly of the earth. Then suddenly the music changed. The proud, defiant tune became frantic, panicked. It was a chaotic, horrifying shriek of sound, as if the pipes themselves were screaming. And mixed with it, they heard something else. The high-pitched, chattering laughter of tiny voices. The fairies. Not the cute winged creatures from storybooks. These were the Slua, the restless, possessing spirits of the dead. The villagers shuddered. They knew what was happening. The Sluag were infamous for snatching souls, for their cruel games. The piper's music became a desperate fight for his life, each note a plea for help. And then silence. The music stopped completely. The villagers waited, their hearts pounding in their chests. Minutes turned to hours. MacCrown never came out, but something else did. Days later, his dog, terrified and with all its fur burned off, scrambled out of the cave, howling in madness. It never recovered. And then the true horror began. On nights of the full moon, locals started seeing it. A creature emerging from the depths of Wam and Rai. It was a horse, but not a living one. A skeletal horse, its bones glowing with a sickly, ethereal light. Its eye sockets burned with green fire, and trailing behind it were heavy, rusted chains that it dragged along the ground, the clanking sound echoing for miles along the coast. Riding this skeletal beast was a grotesque figure, a twisted mockery of a man, his limbs contorted. He played a set of bagpipes, but the music was a discordant nightmare, a melody of pure terror that could drive a person insane. They say it's the piper, MacCrown, his body possessed by the Sluag, his soul trapped, forced to ride his skeletal steed for eternity. He's now their herald, a warning of their malevolent power. So if you ever find yourself on that particular stretch of the Scottish coast and you see a dark opening in the cliffs, maybe just keep walking, because you might hear the faint dangling sound of chains on the wind. And that's a sound you do not want to get any closer to. Like and subscribe for more videos.